If you trade 0DT, you need to watch this. The CBOE just changed their process for executing stop orders, and today I'm going to break down how this changes the risk to us traders and what we can do about it. There are some new protective measures exchanges put in place. I will link them below in the description. The old process was drill-through protection, and the new process is what's known as wide market protection. These measures are kind of like adding a new layer of complexity to options trading. They're causing a concern among some 0DT traders who know we need speed. First, let's define what drill-through protection is in plain English. So imagine you've got a stop-loss order set up in the case that the price decides to take a nosedive. Then things go haywire and the price drops like a rock, plummeting through multiple price levels faster than you can blink. Not good. That's where drill-through protection steps in. It's designed to prevent your order from executing at some crazy, ridiculously high price during those wild market swings. So it's like a safety net to keep in mind from getting completely wrecked in a flash crash. Think of this as a speed bump for your order, giving the market a moment to catch up its breath before your order gets filled at potentially a disastrous price. How do these actually work in practice? Does it just pause your order for a bit? Well, it depends on the type of order you place. If you simply put a limit order, it triggers this drill-through protection. The exchange will dangle the order at a specific price in front of the bid ask for 2 seconds or so. Now, if nobody takes that, it gets canceled. So it's like a last chance offer for advantages. If you're taking a market order and it hits the limit of drill-through, it's canceled immediately. No waiting around. There are some nuances to it. It's not a simple pause button. It actually gets canceled if those conditions are met. The CBOE is thinking to prevent those super fast executions that could really hurt during your volatile market conditions. So then they've added what is known as wide market protection. It's kind of the same idea, just on a bigger scale. They both have the same goal of protecting traders, especially those who use market orders or stop orders to protect them from crazy market movements. But their approach is different. Drill-through protection is very focused, like lasering in on a specific individual order before it's going through the floor. Why market protection is more like a floodlight at the overall market volatility. It's less about getting a single order in and more about the whole market going bonkers during this time with all of the orders. If the market as a whole is deemed too volatile, wide market protection can potentially pause trading completely, similar to a circuit breaker for the whole system. So one is micro and one is macro, and they're both trying to prevent chaos and in turn could create some as well. Every millisecond counts in 0DT trading, so any kind of delay, even a tiny one, could throw everything off. That's right. And that's where things get a little more complicated and maybe a little controversial too, because 0DT options, they really depend on reacting quickly. It's like a high-speed game of chess where every second counts. I have concerns about the 500 millisecond delay in wide market protection, especially in volatile market conditions. This would not update near fast enough to get out, while market makers will have more than enough time to see everything stacking up in their order books at a specific price, because they get the data feed much faster and they can decide how they would like to react to it. Why would they agree to this in the first place? In the 0DT world, it's like an eternity when you're waiting to make these split-second decisions and your orders going through. I think those concerns are definitely valid. It's like trying to hit a fastball with a pitcher that has an extremely slow windup while you're waiting. I'm worried that in times of market turmoil, we won't even be able to cross the bid-ask spread to get those orders filled at the price we want with this wide market protection in place. It's like being told you can only buy or sell at certain times, even if the prices are going against you. The main problem here is that even those mechanisms that are supposed to protect traders, they could end up giving an advantage to the market makers, the people who are already plugged into the system and know how everything works. So it's like playing a game where the other team knows all the secret rules. Not exactly fair, right? It kind of creates an information asymmetry. Some traders might feel like they're flying blind while market makers have night vision goggles. So we talked about how these protections can slow things down and maybe create an unfair playing field. The good thing here is that most market environments, it should lead to better execution, but there are clear problems if something goes boom in high volatility environments. So it's preventing small corrections of curbing people's risk, potentially creating some moral hazard, in my opinion, where less sophisticated people are encouraged to take more risk, stacking up more and more risk that when something goes boom, can clear out people completely. It's kind of like driving a car with really good car insurance policy. You might be tempted to drive a little faster, but it's always a delicate balance. Providing enough protection to keep people safe without encouraging them to take unnecessary risk. And it's something regulators, exchanges, have to take carefully into consideration, especially with the growing popularity of 0DT options being near half the SPX volume. It seems like this whole thing is trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. There are so many different factors to consider, and every move may affect something else. It's not a simple fix, and these are strong opinions on both sides, so we need to reconcile these with competing interests. How do we protect traders without shifting their ability to trade effectively, especially in the world of 0DT where speed is everything? A solution I like is not forcing everyone to adopt this wide market protection, whereas we can opt in or out of it. So you can choose your risk you're willing to accept, whether that be a little more slippage in the short term on normal market conditions or ensuring you can get out during adverse market conditions. Traders who are comfortable with risk and want the fastest execution possible can do so, and traders that don't want to think about managing that risk can simply act into the wide market protection. It's about recognizing that no one size fits all and empowering traders to make informed decisions based on their individual risk tolerances and trading styles. I think a goal for us is to make the system transparent so everyone who's opting in or out is playing on a level playing field. Transparency is ultimately the key. This is where we can opt in or out of the wide market protection and be able to adapt effectively to create an efficient level playing field in the market. With just having wide market protection, 0DT could fall behind the quotes. It's like trying to stop a runaway train with a handbrake. You might be able to slow it down, but it's going to take a while before it comes to a complete stop and wreck anything in its path. So what are the options besides opting in or out that we've talked about earlier? Are there any other potential solutions that could address these concerns? Well, one is to possibly explore reducing the delay time so it's much closer to the market maker's quoting speed. I think all of these changes highlight the need for ongoing innovation and refinement in market regulations. We can't just set it and forget it. We need to make sure the rules are both effective and responsive to the needs of the market participants. The financial markets are constantly in flux, so it's crucial for regulators, exchanges, and traders to work together. We have to have an open dialogue and be willing to adapt to the landscapes and changes. Because at the end of the day, we all want to make the market that's fair, efficient, and accessible to everyone. And to do that, we need to make sure the same rules of the games are up to date. There's another group we need to consider is these market makers. These are the folks providing liquidity and actually making it possible for us to trade in the first place. So how do these protective measures impact them? The market makers are a crucial part of the ecosystem. They're the ones connecting buyers and sellers, keeping the wheels turning. They're like the air traffic controllers of the market, making sure everything runs smoothly. These protections can sometimes create delays and disrupt flow and orders, which can make their job extremely easier, which is why I would argue that they get most of their quotes in 50 milliseconds, and they will see ours updating every 500, giving them plenty of time to see the exact price and know how they would like to react to that. Basically, their wet dream to further optimize their execution at the expense of ours. My concerns are that these mechanics give market makers an unfair advantage because they have a deeper understanding of the order book and how these protections might affect it. We want to make sure that these changes in rules don't inadvertently create winners or losers and distort the competitive landscape of the market. So it's not about just about protecting individual traders. It's about maintaining a level playing field for all market participants, including the market makers. We need a market where everyone has a chance to compete and where the best ideas and strategies rise to the top. It sounds like we're trying to walk a tightrope, balancing the needs to protect traders and ensure the market is competitive and fair. It's no easy task. It requires a careful consideration, open dialogue, and willingness to adapt as challenges and opportunities emerge. Thanks for listening to this deep dive in the world of drill-through protection and wide market protection and how they impact 0DT tradings in the changing landscapes. We've looked at the pros, the cons, and potential solutions, and even the role of market makers in all of this. The importance of this is that we have many participants in an evolving landscape in the financial markets. There's no single magic bullet, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. We've covered all of this, so what do we do now? We need to let the CBOE know and our brokers hear from us. I will link the CBOE email below, and everyone email their brokers as well to let them know our thoughts. Knowledge is power. Never stop learning and never stop asking questions, and always open new ideas. I think the biggest thing is recognizing that these protections are kind of like a double-edged sword. It's all about finding the balance between protecting our traders without holding their hands. Transparency and fairness are absolutely essential if you want to truly level the playing field. It's a complex problem, but I think it's one worth solving. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and please email the CBO and your broker and keep the conversation going and keep me updated on anything that comes out, because ultimately we're creating a better process over time. I'm not really worried that something's going to blow up in the short term. We just need to think of the best ways to keep this competitive and continually adapting so it's the safest, fairest environment for everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe.